and welcome to season 4 of my podcast. Today, my guest is Rahul Singh, a banker, a best selling author, an award winning speaker, and a wisdom activator. Rahul is an expert in connecting ideas, insights, and individuals. An alumni of NTU and IIM Bangalore, he has authored An Atheist Gita, Engineering to Ikigai, and You Know the Glory, Not the Story. Hi, Rahul. Welcome to my show.
Hi, Vedant. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's my absolute pleasure to be sharing an audience with you.
I've started reading your second book, An Atheist Gets the Gita. It's really good.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, Rahul, I'm curious to know, why do you shift from being a banker to an author?
Well, that's a difficult question. It's about what you like to do in life. So I obviously had spent a decade in banking. And then at the same time, while I was in banking, I was writing. So I began writing on LinkedIn. That's where I started writing my posts. They started getting some views. And sometime later, I decided I should write maybe a book on my experiences and things that I value. So I wrote 3 books while I was still a banker. And very recently, I have quit my banking job so that I can pursue writing full time. So it's about what you enjoy doing. So I enjoy writing at this point in time. And that's why I have quit banking. I'm taking a short break where I'll be focusing more on my writing.
Did you feel relieved that you could finally start writing a lot more?
No, it is not like that. I won't say it's a relief because I enjoyed my banking job as well. I still enjoy banking, but it's more about setting priorities. Like, sometimes let's say you like to study, other times you like to play, other times you like to watch TV, other times you like to play games. So it's the same with me. Sometimes I like to do banking, sometimes I like to read, sometimes I like to write. So right now, at this phase in my life, I want to write.
Talking about your first book, Engineering to Ikigai, can you explain the concept of Ikigai to me?
Sure. So as I just mentioned to you, that Ikigai, which is the reason why I am pursuing writing full-time at the moment, it's about doing what you like. Okay? In very simple terms, it's about doing what you like. And my definition of Ikigai is finding what you're passionate about, finding what you like. Like Vedant, you must be liking something. What do you like?
Legos.
So you like Legos. So what you like is your passion. And then, do you have skills? Do you have some skills that you need when you're making Lego?
Patience.
Patience. What else?
A bit of strength to push in the pieces.
A bit of strength, patience. What else?
And you just need space in your mind.
Space in your mind. Right. So those are your skills. So first of all, you need to find what you're passionate about. Then you need to find what skills I have. And then you need to use those skills to solve for a world problem, Vedant, a world problem. So what is a world problem that you can solve using your skills of being able to put Lego pieces together? Is there something that you can do?
Maybe when I grow up, try building cars which help the environment.
Yes. Now that's a world problem that you can solve. And something very important next, Vedant, such that you get paid for it. Do you get paid for making Legos?
No.
Yeah. So you need to find your passion, use your skills to solve for a problem and get paid for it, Vedant. So right now, nobody's paying you for making Legos. So find something that will get you paid for. So that's your Ikigai.
Uh-huh.
And more importantly, you should be happy doing this, right? So when you get up on a Monday morning, you need to go to work. You should feel energized. You should feel like, oh, I want to do this. Absolutely, I love this. Because if you don't love it, then it's not your Ikigai. Do you love making Lego?
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, so you should find something that you love.
How does one find their Ikigai? Like, do you keep trying, and when you finally feel very happy doing one particular thing, that's your Ikigai, or is it different?
It's exactly what you said. You keep trying and see what you like. Once you know what you like, that's your Ikigai. So how do you know what you like? It's also very simple. Do you feel when you're doing something, sometimes you feel like heavy. I don't want to do this. I'm just being forced to do this. And sometimes you feel light. I enjoy doing this. So anything that you enjoy doing, that's your Ikigai. But again, Vedant, sometimes it's difficult to find your Ikigai. And that's why we need a process. That's why we need a structure to find out what your Ikigai is. So I think you're also reading my other book, right? This one, you know, The Glory, Not the Story. So in this book, at the very last few pages, we have an exercise on the last 3-4 pages, which helps you find your Ikigai. So if somebody is confused about what their Ikigai is or is not able to figure out, then we have an exercise here which helps them figure out their Ikigai. But in principle, it's exactly the same as you mentioned. Anything that makes you happy, that's your Ikigai. How do you know what makes you happy? You try various things and then you zero down on what truly makes you happy.
How I found my Ikigai, like doing Legos, is when my uncle first gave me my first Lego, I just did it and it was so fun.
Right. That's a very interesting thing that you said, Vedant. A lot of times, if you don't try, you would not know. You might be the best guitar player in the world, but would you know that if you have never seen a guitar?
No.
You might be the fastest car driver in the world, but would you know that if you've never seen a Ferrari or never seen a Lamborghini or any of those cars?
No, you won't know.
You won't, right? So sometimes it's important to try many things so that you figure out what is that one thing that you like. And that is what life is about, Vedant. It's about a discovery.
You have spoken to a lot of people while writing this book. Was there something common in all of their journeys?
Yes, something common in all their journeys. So let me give you an example. Do you know what electricity is?
Yeah.
What does it do?
It powers stuff like computers, lights, and things like that.
Exactly. So what was common among these people was their sense of purpose, their Ikigai. Let me explain. So when electricity, when it goes inside the bulb, what does it do?
Lights the bulb up.
Okay, very good. What does it do when it goes inside a heater?
Heats the room or house up.
Okay, what does it do when it goes inside a refrigerator?
It cools the refrigerator.
Right. What does it do when... Yeah, what does it do when it goes inside a car?
It makes the engine run and go vroom, vroom.
Right. And what does it do when it goes inside a fan?
Makes the fan spin and gives air.
Exactly. So the same electricity going inside a bulb creates light. Going inside a car makes it go vroom. Going inside a fridge, it cools. Going inside a heater, it heats. The same electricity, right? Which is doing so many different things.
Yep.
So the common thing that I figured out among all the people that I have interviewed and featured in my book, which are as diverse as painters, inventors, CEOs, even monk, is that they have all found their electricity. What is this electricity called? It's called Ikigai. It's the sense of purpose. Why do they exist? What is it that they want to do? Okay, so that's the common thing.
When does one start finding their Ikigai?
Yeah, so you already have your Ikigai, Vedant. You don't need to find. It's a bit like, so let's say I have a stone, okay, a piece of marble, and I want to sculpt. I want to make a sculpture out of it. So what do I need to do?
Start getting a pickaxe or something like that and carving it.
And carving it. So it's all, isn't the sculpture already inside that marble? I'm just removing the parts that are not needed, right?
Yeah.
So your Ikigai is always inside you. You just need to remove the things and figure it out and discover it.
Moving on to your second book, An Atheist Gets the Gita, the one I started reading yesterday. Who is an atheist?
Okay. So that is a question which has been perplexing scientists, philosophers, religious people for the longest time. And let me try to give you a simple definition of who an atheist is, okay? So an atheist comes from the Greek word atheos, where a means no and theos means God. So an atheist is somebody who doesn't believe in God, okay? Now the question is, who is God then? So for the purpose of the definition of atheist, God is G-O-D, generator, operator, destroyer. One who created the whole universe, one who is operating the whole universe, one who is destroying the whole universe. So if you believe that there is a generator, operator, and a destroyer, then you become an atheist, according to the Greek definition. But there are other definitions of what an atheist is in other languages. For example, do you know Sanskrit?
No.
No? Okay, so Sanskrit is one of the oldest languages in the world.
No.
And in Sanskrit, the equivalent of atheist is called Nastik. So Nastik means, na means no, you know, right? Na means no. Asti means is, and ka means believer. So one who doesn't believe there is, but it doesn't tell you what that there is. It doesn't define that there is. So then you have to look further deeper into this. And then there are books like some Sanskrit grammar, advanced grammarians have written on what Nastik is or what an atheist is. So in those books, there is one particular person, his name is Panini, who is a great Sanskrit scholar. So he defines anybody who doesn't believe in a hereafter, who doesn't believe that something exists beyond life, is an atheist, is a Nastik. Okay? So coming back to your question, a very simple definition of what an atheist is, somebody who doesn't believe in God. Okay? But for the purpose of this book, who is an atheist? Because you're reading this book, so I have to define who an atheist is for this book. So for this book, somebody who is a curious individual like yourself, somebody who is logical, somebody who understands things in terms of scientific laws and frameworks, that is an atheist.
So for this book, an atheist is what you said right now, right? It's
Yes.
not like someone who doesn't believe in God.
Yeah, you can say so. So for this book, somebody who is curious is an atheist.
Ah. So in a way, I am an atheist too.
That depends. That depends on how you define yourself. Do you believe there is God?
Yes.
So you're not an atheist. So in for my book, it's written for people who are curious, who are logical, who are scientific. And sometimes these kind of people who are curious, who are scientific, who are logical, sometimes, okay, not always, sometimes they believe there is no God. Okay. So the book is kind of addressing to these people, but it's written for everybody. It's written for curious people. It's written for people who are scientific. It's written for people who don't believe in God, but it's also written for people who believe in God. So the book doesn't tell you whether you should believe in God or you should not believe in God, but it tries to build up a logic or a scientific sense of what the book is trying to convey. Okay?
Okay. So I'm not an atheist.
Okay, so you're not an atheist. Okay. But you should still read the book to figure out who an atheist is.
Yeah, which I am doing.
Yeah.
From what I know, Bhagavad Gita is a religious book. What does an atheist get the Gita mean?
Right. So Bhagavad Gita is, as you're mentioning, a religious book. It's the most sacred book of the Hindus. Okay. Now, what is an atheist doing with Gita? That's a very good question. So even if you take the religious aspect out from the book, even if you take divinity out from the book, even if you don't believe in God, okay, let's say you don't believe in God, and then you read the Bhagavad Gita, then the question you should be asking is, after I read the Bhagavad Gita, even if I don't believe in God, is there something I get out of it? And that is the question my book is trying to answer. Even if you don't believe in God, even if you're an atheist, then is there anything of value that you can take away from the Bhagavad Gita? So that is what the book is all about.
The topic seems a little complex to me. Can you explain it in like a teensy bit easier way?
Yeah, sure. So in the book, we talk about 5 concepts. Let me explain you those 5 concepts, okay? So first of all, the book talks about a jiva. Jiva is a soul, okay? Soul with a body. You are a jiva. You are a living body. You are a living being, right?
Yeah.
Is plant living being?
Yes.
Tiger?
Yes.
Yeah. So all of them are jiva. Anything which is living is jiva. You know what what environment is?
Yeah.
What is environment?
One of the things around you, 2 plants and stuff like that.
Yes, anything and everything around you is environment, which we call in Sanskrit prakriti. Okay, that's a second concept. You know what time is?
Yeah, time is 1 clocks like 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute,
Correct.
1 hour, 2 hours, 1 decade, and all of that. That's time. And yeah, that's what time.
That's time. So that's a third concept in the book. And then there is a fourth concept in the book. It's the law of karma. Have you heard of this term? Karma?
No.
So you've not heard of karma. Okay, then you should read the book. And karma is essentially what it tells you is have you ever done something good to somebody and then something good has happened to you?
Yeah.
And what happens when you do something bad to somebody?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay, try hitting your friend and see what happens to you.
No.
What will happen? Have you ever hit a friend?
Probably just massage it a bit.
Yeah, but have you ever seen? Okay, you've never hit anybody. You've never got into a fight.
I haven't gotten to like a physical fight.
So have you ever seen that when people hit you, then they accidentally fall themselves because they lose their balance or something?
Yeah.
So that is what it is. When people do bad, then bad thing happens to them. When people do good, then good thing happens to them. Right? So let's say when you come to your friend and you give them chocolates, then what happens? Are they angry with you?
No, they're
happy with you, right?
Yeah, they smile.
And maybe next time they give you chocolate back, right?
Yeah.
What if you come to somebody's home and you hit somebody? What will happen? What will that guy try to do?
Hit you back.
Hit you back. So when you do good, then good happens to you. When you do bad, then bad happens to you. So this is the law of karma. Okay, that's the fourth topic. Okay? And the last topic is Ishvara. Ishvara is God, the one who designed the whole system. Okay, so let me now repeat. Now the book talks about how Jiva is Vedant, how Vedant is going to interact in nature, in the environment. We are always interacting with the environment, right?
Yeah.
You touch something, you see something, you taste something, right? You walk somewhere. That is all environment. And where are you doing this walking, touching, and experiencing? In time, right?
Yes.
You experience something today, something yesterday, something you will experience tomorrow. So that's happening in time, correct?
Yes.
So what governs those interactions? Let's say you pluck a plant, right?
Yeah.
Or let's say you give a chocolate to somebody, or let's say you hit somebody. So there must be some laws that determine what is going to happen to you next, correct?
Yeah.
So those laws are called laws of karma. So if you have a law, somebody should have designed those laws, correct?
Yes.
In any game you play, there is somebody who designs the game, right? Somebody who creates the code for the game. Or even when you play a physical game, there are some rules of the game, right?
Yes.
Somebody establishes those rules, right? So conceptually, what we say is that the person or the entity which designed these rules is
God.
Yes, exactly. So we talk about 5 concepts in the book. We talk about living entities like Vedant. Then we talk about environment. Then we talk about time. Then we talk about law of karma. And then we talk about
God.
Exactly. So that is the book all about.
Interesting.
It's interesting. So you should read it.
Can't wait to finish it.
Yes.
What are you planning to write about next? Which topic?
So my next topic is on a topic which is called ESG, where E stands for environment, S for society, and G for governance. Let me explain. So all my books, whether it's this book, which you had started reading, which is called, You Know the Glory, Not the Story, right? Or it's this book, Engineering to Ikigai, okay? Or it's this book, which you just started reading yesterday, which is An Atheist Gets the Gita. All of them talk about one thing, Vedant. They talk about purpose. What is the purpose of life? What is it that I want to do in life? Okay? So they talk about individuals. What do we want to do as individuals? Okay? And then there are also corporates. You know what is corporates? Companies.
Yeah.
Do companies have purpose?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do. But most companies forget what their purpose is. And most companies then have only one purpose: to sell you things that you don't need at a price you can't afford, using a bank loan that you don't want. That is when they forget their purpose. They totally forget their purpose. They're just trying to sell you things. Right?
Yes.
So my next book is about teaching companies that don't do this. Be nice, have a purpose. Don't just keep selling things to people who don't need it, using a bank loan that they don't want at a price that they can't afford.
Yes.
Okay?
If I was a company and I forgot my purpose, how would you what do you call it? Remember your purpose again. How will you know what your purpose is again?
That's a very good question. How would you know what your purpose is? So, Vedant, let me ask you. So, you know your Ikigai, right?
Yes.
What happens if you forget your Ikigai and if you try to do something else?
You won't get that happy.
You won't get that happiness. So the same thing with companies. When they forget the purpose that they exist for, they won't be happy. And happiness for companies is many things. It's a feeling of serving people. At the same time, it is also about generating some money, because companies exist, Vedant, for generating money, for generating, because if they don't have money, then can they pay people who they employ?
Yeah.
Can they, if they don't have money?
No, they
Yeah,
can't pay anyone.
they can't pay. So if they can't pay, then nobody's going to. So if they can't pay, then the company will go bankrupt. That means company will cease to exist. So for companies, what is important is to understand that they can do good for people, okay, good for society, as well for themselves. Doing well for themselves is to make more money for the company. And with that money, they can do a lot of things. So my next book is about telling companies how you can do well for society, at the same time, do what? Do good for yourself. So it's not just, you know what is profit, right?
Yes.
So don't just focus on profit. Also care about people and the planet. Because if you only care about profit, then what are you going to do? You're going to destroy the planet and you are going to make people unhappy. So don't do that. Create a company which has a purpose. So we are talking about 4 P's here, Vedant. First P is purpose.
Yes.
Second P is profit. Third P is people. And the fourth P is planet. So find your purpose in such a way as a company that you generate profit, but at the same time, you make people happy and you care for the planet.
And also, if you destroy the world as a company, you'll be destroying yourself, because if there's no world,
then there is no you and there is no company. And that is again, Vedant, the law of karma. If you are destroying the world, then it's going to come back to you and destroy yourself.
Yeah. What did you want to be as a child?
As a child, Vedant, I wanted to be a scientist and explore the very beautiful aurora borealis that you have on your background. I wanted to explore that. I wanted to see what is the universe like, what are things beyond our solar system. So I wanted to be a scientist.
Yeah, being a scientist is fun.
Yeah, being a scientist is fun. So when I was in my university, I studied light. You know light?
Yeah.
So light is the fastest thing in the universe. Nothing travels faster than light. So I was a photonics engineer. I was studying about lights. And then some things happened to me and I became a banker. And now I'm an author. So life is also about discovery, Vedant. What you want to be in the childhood may change when you are adults and may change further when you grow older.
Yeah, it might.
It might, right? So maybe when you grow up, maybe something else excites you. Maybe not Lego. Maybe something else becomes your Ikigai. And that is important, Vedant. Your Ikigai is not one thing that remains static. It changes. It can change.
I've interviewed some people on my podcast who do exactly what they wanted to do as a child.
Yeah, so it's a journey. Some people know exactly what they want to do when they are a child, and some people discover it. So for me, it was discovery.
I don't know whether I'm going to really find it or whether it's going to be discovery.
Yeah, but all you need to know is to have an open mind. Whether your skill and love for making Lego, whether it translates into you designing cars, environment friendly car, or whether you find something else that you like. The important thing is to find something you like. And that's a discovery, Vedant. It could be the same that you are telling now, or in 20 years time when right now you're interviewing me, maybe 20 years later, I will interview you. And then I will ask Vedant, what did you want to be as a child and what are you doing now? Is it same or is it different? So do we have a deal? In 20 years, we can have another interview?
Okay, sure.
Cool.
Okay. What are your hobbies?
My hobby is writing, Vedant. I only have one hobby, writing. So a lot of people like to have other hobbies like watching television, playing golf, swimming, but I only have one hobby, writing.
And that's what you do now full time?
That's what I do now full time, yes. So my hobby has become my full-time job now.
Yeah, must be fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I'm enjoying it so far.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on my show.
Thank you, Vedant, for having me on your show. It was lovely speaking to you. And don't forget, we have an interview in 20 years' time.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Dear listeners, follow my Facebook page, Curious Vedant, to get updates on my upcoming episodes. To listen at leisure on your phone and get updates about future episodes, subscribe by searching for Curious Vedant wherever you get your podcasts, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and many more. You can also listen to my show on curiousvedant.com. Thank you for listening to Curious Vedant, and don't forget to rate and leave comments.